Okay. Hello, guys, and welcome back to to the first workshop of our next cybersecurity workshop series. And this series is called Cybersecurity Pocket Edition. And this is the first cybersecurity workshop in that series. So um, I hope you enjoy our workshop. And this workshop, we're going to be talking about session security. So what are sessions? So when you download a web page from a server, um, and when you're communicating with that server to check, like for example, in this case, you want to get your account details, you want to update your account details, or you want to get send money to someone else or something. So sessions allow for the bank and you or the bank to give that information only to you because you have that specific session ID or specific session key. So, for example, I am a bank server, and I have many clients who want to use my service. So I give them my um, HTML page or my application to them from the server endpoint. I pass it off to the multiple clients, and so when the clients are requesting their details, they send something called a session key or some session ID so that I know that this person is asking for their um, account details and they have access because this is that person with this specific session ID. And because the bank knows that um, that session ID is for this specific person, then you take those details of that specific person and you pass it back to that specific client. You don't give it to all the other clients. That's why when you log into an app, you get your own details and you don't get anyone else's. So how do you record sessions? So there's multiple ways. You may have seen these notes on websites such as Airbnb or just any popular website. And they have these now because they're asking to store data so that they can record the session, and this is known as a cookie. And nowadays there's lots of regulations being put into cookie policy and just session keys and everything about that because they can get stolen, and that's the whole point of this lecture right here. Oh, this workshop is session cookies. There's also some other insecure methods, such as just regular randoms or sequential session IDs and other methods I'll talk about. And if someone obtains your session cookies, then how dangerous do you think that is? Do you guys have any suggestions, or what do you guys think? How dangerous that is?
Do you want us to talk or type?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, if they get your session, then they can pretend they're you, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if um, especially if I take the session cookies of um, someone who is logging into Bank of America. So I take the session cookies. What do I have access to them?
Their bank.
Their bank account information, everything. I can maybe even um, send money to myself from their account. I can do lots of stuff. So what makes these session cookies easily hackable? So there's multiple weak session cookies. For example, sequential numbers. So there's this counter in the server that increments each time for a specific session. And so what a hacker can do is basically log on to the website, copy the session ID, and then just increment it by 2 or 3, and then you can steal any other person's session ID when they log in, and then you'll be able to steal the information. There's also some weak number generators. For example, you could turn the username into numbers or use a um, typical, what do you call, hashing algorithm or a typical random number generator. and so the hacker can recreate those session ID numbers and then plugging them into the cookies and send a request, and then the server would return information as if you were that legitimate person trying to log into that website. There's also time-dependent sessions. So, for example, maybe there's a basic encryption of a timestamp object, or just an actual timestamp object as a session ID. So you can just basically brute force that around that same time and see what kind of information you can extract from the server. Maybe there's also a pool of session cookies out there or in the server, and so the server just randomly hands out session cookies, and so the session cookies aren't tied to a specific individual user session, so you can always just guess it. There's also other low entropy session cookie generators that hackers can definitely easily figure out. So you need something that's high entropy. But even with high entropy session cookies, you can still get hijacked. So, for example, you have this coffee house Wi-Fi. So these guys, these vulnerable people right here, are connected to the hacker's Wi-Fi that he set up, and so he's able to capture all that traffic. And so when the server is sending the web page to the vulnerable people, the hacker is able to see all those cookies that the web page is sending, all those session IDs, so he captures them, and then he sets up his own browser and then inputs those session keys, and then he is able to look at it. This is known as cookie sidejacking. Also, maybe if you have two websites open, one website can steal can run code to steal the cookies of one and send it to another, or send it to the hacker's database. That this is known as cross-site scripting. So where the user opens two websites, and then the user runs code of the hacker, which steals the cookies of a website that's open, such as Bank of America. And so this is just an example picture I found online which demonstrates this. So the website visitor visits the website, and then the perpetrator injects code which makes the website visitor to take the cookies, to read the cookies and send to the hacker, so the hacker can log in as that user. This is my works cited, and now I'm going to do a quick demo. Give me a second. Okay, so you guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have different profiles here. This profile right here has no cookies, and I'll show you how that works. So if I go into Grammarly, this is just an example. So I have here a login page, and so what I would do, I would log in right here, go on, continue, sign in, and I'm in my account of Grammarly. So if I open a new tab and go to or just Grammarly.com, it would redirect me here because I have my own session ID cookies that are of this. When I logged in, it gave me cookies. My browser stored those cookies. And so when I requested for the website Grammarly, it sent those cookies associated with this website to the server. And the server says, okay, instead of serving this guy a login page, he's already logged in. Why don't you just give him the web page? So if I log out here, how do I log out? And here I just go into click on this or something. It says I've been logged out because the cookies had expired. The session cookies had expired. So let's log back in and let's examine some of the cookies. So if you go into F12 or Option Command J for Mac, If you go to application, you can click here. You can see the cookies right here. So some of these cookies are not specific for the session ID. So only some of them are. Like this one, this browser. There's a browser info cookie which stores like Chrome, supported Mac OS and stuff. Just information about my computer. There's other stuff. There's a CRSF token. We talked about this in its um, previous workshop. So we have all these different cookies, and you can see how this is hashed, and all of them should be hashed. All the important ones should be hashed because then you can easily just change it. For example, you can, if there's a cookie that says, okay, is super user, and if it says 0, you're gonna change it to 1, and bam, you have super user privileges. So you also have to be careful when you're hashing your cookies because you want them to have a high entropy hash as well. So you want to treat them as passwords. They're as vulnerable as passwords. So let's say, let me open a new profile. So if I go Grammarly, see, I'm not logged in because this is this browser treats this as a different computer. Let's just say that. And so all the cookies that are here that are in my previous profile right here do not translate to this profile right here. So if I go application, cookies, it doesn't have the important ones. Like here, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm missing 3, which those 3 are probably specific to my login page or just my personal session. And these cookies are automatically generated by Grammarly when they first give me the landing page. So let's say now I have this extension called Cookie Editor. So I'm going to go to Grammarly. So I have this right here. I'm logged in. Note that I'm logged in. I go here, click on this. I export. Actually, no, that's import. My bad. Here, I'm gonna enter password as password. Doesn't matter. Export. Save. I'm gonna save it in my documents folder. Place. So let's go to here. So if I reload again, of course I'm not logged in right here. But now let's go. I have installed the same extension right here, Cookie Manager. So let me. There's no Grammarly. Oh, actually, there's a Grammarly right here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete that, and then I'm going to import the cookies.json file, and I'm going to put a password, enter the password to decrypt it. And then now I click on all these, and I click. I go to each single one. Actually, yeah, I have to do that now. I have to set individual. This is just a beta of this. So if I reload this page, I'm in my session. And you can see that all my cookies, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So basically all my cookies that were here, they're translated here. So as long as you can steal the cookies without the user knowing, or you can just read them, you can easily just transport it into your own browser and then input it, and then bam, that's it. And you can get hacked that way. So you should always be protectful of your cookies and don't share anything, or don't input any code into this console window, like if someone was telling you a quick hack or something for free stuff. Like for example, if I do console.log document.cookies got cookie, it prints out all the cookies right here. See, you got the funnel type free NAR container. You got other stuff right here. You can just print that out, and then you can ask them, okay, you get free, what do you call, just free Starbucks coffee if you post this in some place. And then
Free V-Bucks from Fortnite.
yes, and then you can easily steal it from there. So be very careful.
Oh my god.
That was one line code right here. One line code.
Wow, that's
And of
great.
course, the weakest point in any system are humans and how gullible they are.
Does the session ID stay valid as long as you keep the Grammarly website open?
Yeah. So I mean, some websites may change it, or like they have different ways of keeping the session ID. But since I logged out, they make the session ID invalid for this specific website.
Yeah, because I have a habit of keeping tabs open for like weeks at a time. So hopefully it's not keeping the same session ID.
Sometimes what they do is like you had this open a long time, and when you reload it, they log you out because the session ID has a time limit.
Oh yeah.
Some of them have it like that, and so that's good. So you don't want all users to keep staying on and they lose all their stuff. But yeah. So that was today's workshop. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did enjoy it. I appreciate all of you guys giving your input during the workshop, as it should be. And of course, join us next time, next Thursday, for another workshop in the Cybersecurity Pocket Edition workshop series. Thank you, and have a nice day.